Today is Saturday, February 26th, 2022. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our JABBIC Part 1 for Season 42 of Survivor.
This is where we kick off the season. The idea behind our JABBIC shows, where JABBIC stands for Judge a Book by Its Cover, is to take a look at whatever information that we have available on the cast. Sometimes it's just the bios. There's some videos on Entertainment Weekly where Dalton Ross asks them questions, so you get to hear them respond in their own voice. So that's
little snippets
that you can get, and not video interviews or anything like that are out, at least that we've seen yet.
Yeah.
More will be available as we get close to the launch on the 9th.
And Survivor puts out a little video, but they're not all out yet, so.
Yeah, we're trying to get a start on the season. We found that we've taken advantage of Paul's visual roster here, and we spend some time looking at everyone's bio, at least looking at their picture. Sometimes you can get a sense of how you think they're going to do just by looking at their picture, right? That's the judge a book part.
Well, at least we think we do.
Yeah. Well, we're not
saying
it's
all about.
Yeah, we're not saying it's accurate. It's just hey, get to know them.
Frequently wrong.
But we do make predictions based on what teeny tiny little bit of information that we have. We're willing to go out on a limb. And
I think it's fun to kind of what we think is going to happen.
Encourage you to do the same, and then you can look back and see how wrong you were, just like we do. Because you never know until it starts, right? Everybody thinks they're going to do well until they get punched in the face.
That's right.
Something like that. That's that Mike Tyson quote. So we're going to go through and we're going to look at everybody by tribe. We'll go tribe by tribe, looking at them in the order they're in on Paul's roster, and just read some of their bios in, and then we'll say whether or not we think they're going to make the merge and anything else that pops into mind regarding them.
Yep, with that little bit of information we gleaned.
Yes.
I'm going to read a little bit of their bios. I pulled out little snippets to give you, if you're not wanting to go read through the bios, we'll give you a little bit of...
Just listen along and you'll get that. Yeah.
Things that stood out for me. That may not be what would have stood out for you. Mm-hmm. So it's good to read your own, but, I just pulled out a few things.
Sure. So it's just like season 41. There's 18 castaways. It's going to run for 26 days. There's a 2-hour premiere. And Probst is still selling the big, there's a monster, and it's chasing you.
Is he?
Everything's still harder, and all that. So, we left season 41, and it was, for me, this was Probst's bungled budget Survivor.
Yeah, after we watched Survivor Australia Season 4.
Yes.
That's when you started saying, we have budget Survivor.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And that's what we did. One of the things that we watched during the break. And it was such a good palate cleanse for when Survivor was done right.
Yeah, we watched 4, 5, and 6.
Mm-hmm. I think 4 was
We'd seen 1 and 2. We thought we saw 3, but we realized we didn't. But then they got pulled, so we didn't get to watch 3.
Yeah, but we thoroughly enjoyed watching 4 after the budget bungled Survivor that we got in season 41. Now, we're headed into this one, and it's going to be a lot of the same mechanics. The beware advantages there. The what's the goofy thing where you can save yourself at Tribal Council? Anyway, those things,
remember.
Yeah, it made such an impression on us. Those things are still going to be there, but we've got a positive outlook. We're working on a positive outlook here because one, it's Survivor, and we
That's
just
right.
enjoy the mechanics. When you get down the first principles of Survivor, this group of people, and they make up their own rules for how to decide who stays and who goes, and it changes, and there's a big social experiment going on the whole time, and the stakes get higher and higher the closer to the end you get, and then you got to have people that you voted out decide that you're worth $1 million. So those basic elements are there, and the thing for a season to succeed or fail or to have good moments is really comes down to the cast.
Right.
So that's what we're focusing on as we kick off the JABBIC, start to learn something about the castaways, because they're the core, and our enjoyment will ride with how good a job they did at pulling together a cast for us, regardless of how bad the mechanics can get bungled up.
I also think it will be interesting to see how a different season, since we're getting it anyway, we might as well, go with it.
David
and
was talking about
see
that.
how the new
Yeah.
cast
Yeah.
will react, and if they react the same as the last cast, or if they do something totally different. Mm-hmm. So that'll be interesting for me.
Yeah, they're coming in with the same conditions. They don't know anything about this. They don't have the benefit of having watched season 41 because they were basically filmed back to back. So they're fresh at coming up up to these creative wonders that Probst and company came up with as we came out of the pandemic phase there.
I can roll with it, baby.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're focusing on the castaways because that's where the real creativity and the enjoyment and the deep love of the game can shine and come out, and that's what we look forward to. So let's start with the Ika tribe.
The Blue Tribe.
Yeah, so we got Drea is first up.
She's 35 from San Antonio, but she's living in Montreal now. She's a fitness consultant.
So will that count as a Canadian win?
Absolutely. She's living there.
Yeah.
She was an All-American track runner.
Yeah.
She
so
says,
that's there, but
yeah,
she's 35. That was quite a while ago, but it is part of her background and her foundation. Yeah.
She said, I'm resilient, ambitious, and caring. Her pet peeves are dishonest people, so could be a problem. I believe I can win because of my personality, physical strength, and ability to manipulate people to do what I want will help me get to the final. I'm able to see where different personalities fit in my life and utilize them when it fits. I like her, and I think she could go deep in the game. I've definite merge, and I put her as my final four, and she's in the running for my USB 24.
Yeah, I definitely got her making the merge too, because she's got that element of physicality. It looks like some of that's still there, that foundation, and she may have some business savvy skills that she can bring in. The trick with all of these castaways is that we all can gather experience of how to deal with people and maneuver and negotiate. But the thing that's different about the game, and it's just like all the other reality shows, is there's a time pressure component here.
Well,
you may be able to manipulate people given enough time, but when you're talking about minutes or hours, depending on the situation that you're in, your skills may not come through.
Then you got to factor in the lack of sleep, the lack of comfort, the weather,
Sure.
the lack of food, all of those things. That makes it so much more different than it would be in your normal world.
Yeah,
So,
as you're well fed and you're in the quarantine and you're
Yeah,
resting,
and you're
waiting to
thinking
start the
clearly.
game. Yeah.
we come down on them sometimes for, that was a dumb move, blah, blah, blah. But you don't know what you'd do if you're out there with no sleep. And because my brain doesn't work good without sleep.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think Drea's going to make the merge. She's got,
Yay.
got
We
the
agreed
tools.
on something.
Yeah, she got the tools to do that. Next up, Roxroy.
He's 44, lives in Las Vegas. He's a stay-at-home dad. He said, I'm thankful, I'm calm, except when driving, and I'm faithful. My pet peeves is someone who thinks they know everything. I'm Jamaican, an environmental scientist, and have been to over 20 countries. I will play like Cochrane. He understood his weakness the second time around, and it strengthened him to compete and win. I'm playing for my family.
Ooh, That last one seems like a red flag.
Well, the thing was he was watching Survivor at home and complaining all the time about what people were doing, and she's like, "Well, then apply. Go play yourself." And so she got online. She signed him up and told him to go play. So
Go win $1 million.
So there is the question of, okay, how committed are you really?
Yeah.
Or did your wife just want you to do it and, stop complaining? But
So he's a big fan.
I like that.
Yep. And maybe a dad on vacation.
Maybe.
Depends on how long he's been a stay-at-home dad.
Well, I said that it seems like he's a nice guy, but I don't know. I have a feeling he could be too nice to be cutthroat when he needs to. That's a question mark for me. I'm going to go ahead and say merge for his strength, but I think he'd be gone shortly after that if he makes it. So.
Yeah, I think his physicality will be, because he is the big physical guy for that tribe.
Yep.
The other two guys are much smaller in physical demeanor. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so as long as he can deliver on that front, he'll have a role to play in the early portion of the game for sure. We'll see how things play out.
We don't know how physically fit he is. He didn't really talk about that.
Nope, that's true.
All right, next up, Romeo. He's 37 years old from Los Angeles. He's a pageant coach.
Beauty pageant.
Yeah, he's been a super fan since he was 14. His hobbies are traveling the pageants, of course, and watching Survivor. He says he's competitive, intuitive, and smart. His pet peeves, I'm a bit impatient, so I would say slow people, laziness, and people who don't know how to read a room. I hate losing or being wrong. I do want to achieve great Survivor historical moments and be remembered. I thought
that's a red flag, isn't it? Yeah.
That is often something that trips
I want to be
people
famous.
up. Well, I just want to be remembered. I want to make my mark on Survivor.
Who did we have last season?
I want to do this.
That was JD. That was exactly JD's thing. He wanted to make Survivor history.
Yeah. Well, I still think he's got a lot of smarts and he could do well. And I like that he's a fan, of course. I'm afraid that he'll try too hard and stand out and get himself in trouble. But I went ahead and put the merge anyway.
Yeah, I also have him merging. Drea, Roxroy, and Romeo are the three oldest on that tribe.
Oh, yeah, 35, 37, and 44.
Yeah. The winners tend to come in the 25 to 35 range. So there's...
All right, good for the girl I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
We'll get to her in a minute.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you got one at both ends, really. But
Yep.
yeah. Okay, yeah, I got Romeo making the merge. I think there's going to be an alliance between Drea, Roxroy, Romeo, and Tori. We'll get to that in a minute. This is my prediction.
All right, that's your dream.
Yeah.
Okay, Swati. I guess that's how you pronounce it, right? Swati. She's 19 from Palo Alto. She's an Ivy League student. She said, I'm competent, charismatic, and caring. Pet peeves are people who don't work hard for their dreams, who are emotionally manipulative, or people who try to control me or tell me how to live my life. I'm very open and honest and try to be as real as possible. She said her entire life's been highly successful. She's been highly successful in persuasion, and to some extent, she lives every day the way Tony plays. That gave me pause.
It seems a bit scattered. Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, she's 19, so I don't expect a lot of polish here.
Well, she just finished 4 months. She went out like 36 hours after she got off of 4 months of training for the National Guard. So that's like
So she
boot camp or
graduated,
something. Yeah.
high school and did basic, and now she's headed to Harvard.
And she went right out to do Survivor. So she should be fit and in good shape for the challenges. So, she said she'd like to have a strong alliance with a female. Specifically, and 2 of my favorite females are on this tribe. So I thought, well, if she hooks up with them, she could definitely make the merge. But I went ahead and put no merge anyway.
Yeah, I don't have a good sense that she's going to survive very long. Yeah.
Yeah, that was just a reaction, but
Yep,
I put
me
no
too.
merge. So.
Yeah, I got no merge on Swati.
Wow, we don't usually agree this much.
Yeah. Next up, we got Tori. She's 25 from Arkansas.
Yep.
She's a therapist. Go ahead. I was just doing that while you got a drink.
Oh, no, that's fine. Her whole family are fans.
Mm-hmm.
She's one of the middle of 5 children, and she said her hobbies are CrossFit, playing board and card games, which could help. She said, I'm quirky, warm, and self-aware. Her pet peeves are people who lack self-awareness, are emotionally reactive, immature, or petty. She said she paid for 50% of her master's degree by competing in pageants and by earning academic scholarships.
So there's a potential that her and Romeo could have a connection through the pageant world there.
Maybe. She said, I'm physically and socially a strong player. I care about people and connect deeply. I've studied Survivor and know what strategies work, and people see me as trustworthy. She wants to be the first woman to win 5 individual immunity challenges. That's one of her goals. And she says she wants to bring 2 other women to the final 3 with her like Kim Spradlin did. Mm-hmm. She thinks that a woman has a better chance to win against another woman rather than having a male in the group. So I was very impressed with all of the different strategies she talked about. And
she was the first one that you came to talk to me about, and you were just effusive. You had all these things that you were saying that.
Even in one of the interviews, she talked about she had thought about, they had to quarantine and they can't talk to each other yet. So, but they're forming impressions of just seeing people.
Sure.
And she studies psychology, of course, being a therapist. And so she knows that a lot of the reports say people see you as kinder and more friendly in blue colors. And so she packed so that she's only wearing shades of blue.
Well, she's on a blue tribe. They selected a blue wardrobe for her.
Well, but she had that in mind even before.
Yep.
That she was going to wear the soft colored blue. Mm-hmm. And because she said sometimes people would have the wrong impression of her right off. And she wants to start controlling how people view her before she even speaks to them. I don't know. I really liked that she's
That's
thinking.
a strategy to think that you could control people.
Well, you don't know that you can, but why wouldn't you? If you know the statistics. And
leverage your knowledge, yeah. Well, I think the bigger thing is she knows how other people perceive her, and it's not positive. All the things that she said were not positive. The things that she runs up against, their initial impression of her. She's able to turn it around given time, but you have a very small window.
She's trained to make people comfortable with her so they can share, their innermost issues.
Yeah.
And she has no qualms about using that in the game of Survivor. And I was like, and you've talked about that before. If you played, you'd want to kind of work on a mental level as well with people and kind of feed them what you knew they wanted, find out what they want, and then give it to them.
Real basic things. She didn't talk anything about it, but mirroring is another one, a nonverbal thing that you do.
Yeah.
Whatever you see them doing, you mirror it, how they're sitting, or if they cross their legs or their arms or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like all she had to say about that. Merge, Final Four, possible USB 24.
Oh,
probable.
Okay. Yeah.
Probable. Though there are other things that concern me about her, but I don't know. I'm leaning toward that.
Yeah, I got her making the merge too. Like I said, I thought there's a decent chance that Drea, Roxroy, Romeo, and Tori would end up being the majority alliance on the Ika tribe.
Did you put them as your Final Four?
No, but I do have Drea and Tori, I believe, in there. I don't know. We'll get to that.
Yeah, you told me you had them because I said I had them.
Been moving people in and out. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so we got one more to do on the Ika tribe.
Zach, he's 22. He's from Florida, but he's living in St. Louis. He's a student and a super fan. He compares himself to Spencer and Adam Klein. His hobbies are social strategy games, sketch comedy writing, and running. I'm clever, competitive, a storyteller. I can win because I'm extremely personable and make friends easily. I'm super intelligent and strategic with a vast knowledge of the game. I'm athletic enough to not be a liability, but not enough to be a threat. And I'm willing to work harder than anyone to win. That all sounds great, but my comment was I just am not buying what he's selling.
No. 22, there's a real try-hard vibe there. There's some self-awareness. He was talking about how he had won a debate championship, and he wouldn't tell anyone that because he knew that that didn't make any sense. That wasn't a good place.
Oh, yeah, he's counting on his debate and speech.
I like the self-awareness aspect of that, but there's such a try-hard vibe there that I suspect he might be similar to JD last season, again, making that reference. Well, and just talking about Survivor nonstop, he's got that vibe. And one thing you'll do is you take somebody who knows the game that well and you'll boot them right out because you don't want to have to mess with that.
Though I discounted Will
asset.
because of his age too, and he did way better than I thought and was way more mature than I ever dreamed he would be. So I understand I can be very wrong about that, but and I like a lot of the things he says and does.
Yeah, mine's not based just on his age, although that's a red flag
mine
too.
either. But again, I think too he's just going to be so excited he won't be able to contain that energy, and he does have more older people on the tribe. Swati's the only one remotely close to him in age.
Right.
So.
Well,
okay.
he's like an even distance from Tori and Swati, but the thing about women is, as a general rule, they're more emotionally mature, way ahead of the men. So him being 22 just puts him in the same sort of space as Swati, I guess. All right, that's our Ika tribe.
Did you say you put
I got no
number?
merge for him. Yeah, I think he's
too.
going to get booted.
This is making me nervous that we're agreeing so much.
Mm-hmm.
We must really be wrong.
Could be.
Okay.
Moving on. The Taku tribe. What color are they? Is that orange?
Orange.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I called it.
First
orange.
up, we got Jackson.
48 years old, from Houston, Texas, a healthcare worker, but runs his own company. Hobbies are puzzling and weightlifting. He said, I'm kind, dedicated, and assertive. Pet peeves are people who are unorganized, no schedules, or don't get to the point. Something we would never know from looking at him is, he said, I used to be a girl. I'm covered in tattoos. I'm a big softy when it comes to animals. I'm a collector of hurt or abandoned animals. Well, and he plans to play most like Elaine. He admired her hardworking, confident, resilient, and that she played a great mind game.
Yeah, he said he was a biscuit, just like Elaine.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I really liked Elaine, so I think I like Jackson too. I do. I like him, and he seems like a very likable person. But that's why I don't think anyone's going to want to take him to the final three. He's just too likable.
Yeah.
And but I do think he'll make the merge.
Yeah, I also have him making the merge.
So, and I hope he does well because I like him.
Next up, we got Jonathan.
He's 29 years old, from Gulf Shores, Alabama. He has a beach service company he owns, and his hobbies are working out, spearfishing, and surfing. All that could come in handy. Pet peeves are bullies and disrespectful people. He will play like Ozzy. Athletic in challenges, my wit and charm will help me outside of the challenges. I'm strong-willed and determined and will not give up on anything. He wants to be a provider for the tribe, which would be good. That's helpful. It won't keep him in the game, but I think his strength will keep him in the game at least till the merge.
Yeah, I got no hopes of him coming anywhere close to a win. And one of the things that really put me off of him was that he said that he was going to play down his physicality. And I'm looking at the guy and I'm thinking,
you don't play that down.
Jonathan, your biceps are as big as Zach's thighs.
True.
You know, he's a big guy. He looks like a big, very muscular guy.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's entertaining this idea that he could somehow play down his physicality
Just turned you off.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just like, wow, your sense of awareness is lacking.
Well, my thought was he's very strong, of course, and he does have a strategy, and I could see him and Jackson getting along. They both seem very lighthearted, so I think they might get along. So I said definitely he'll merge for his strength, but I think he'll be out soon after because they don't want to go up against him after that.
I think they did him a little disservice in the season 42 preview video because they make him look like a mouth breather too. So he looks like this big muscular, and he's just standing there with his mouth open, and that always makes you look dopey.
I did not pick up on that.
No, okay. Anyway,
That's a
he'll
you thing.
he'll make merge. I just thought they did him wrong.
Okay, Lindsay, 31, New Jersey girl. She's a dietitian and has a successful business. Super fan. Hobbies are co-ed flag football in the sand and any high intensity or high adrenaline activity. I'm loud, talkative, and have an intense personality that doesn't mesh with everyone. Pet peeves are wasted time drives me nuts, and I hate slow and quiet talkers. I have a strategic mind. I read people very well, and I'm good at persuading others. Let's be real. People are stupid, and when people are hungry, they forget how to stay composed. Once you see the cracks, it's easier to outwit. I'll be a top challenge competitor, can endure situations, and am too determined to quit. I think that's her in a nutshell. And I read all that for a reason. I thought, yep, that's
all
her.
that in a bag of nuts.
Yeah, and she could do well, but I definitely put the merge. You know, she talks a really good game if she's not bossy.
One of the things that it sounds like she's gonna have conflicts, like she's open to that, or
She could.
she might be a bit of a drama fisher.
But how many strong-willed people are on that tribe? Would they just let her?
I don't know. It'll be interesting if Marianne says she likes to talk a lot too. So
Yeah, because we said Jackson and Jonathan seem easygoing.
they had a chill vibe. So does Omar.
Yeah. So that was my thought was, well, but, you know, if she's the loudest and wants to lead, they might just let her.
One thing that I did like about what she said was that she had put the effort in. She knows how to make fire. She didn't want to show that she knows how to make fire. And if this goes anything like the first season did, she may get wrangled into it. I mean, not the first season, but last season.
Somebody got to do it.
Yeah, well, only one tribe ends up winning Flint if they're going to do it pretty much the same way as they did in 41. Remember, they had to do the boat race to win the Flint, and the one tribe didn't really get off the boat, and the other one forgot to unhook their boat. So there was only one tribe that was able to paddle around and win their Flint and a pot and a machete.
What did they get when they filled the water? I thought they got Flint after they filled the water.
That was for the two losing tribes. They had an opportunity to get Flint.
Oh, okay.
To get, I guess, to get their basic pot and machete or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact parts either.
But it wasn't Flint then, I
but
guess.
There were some people who were able to stand out because they were able to make fire without the Flint. So
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was the machete in the pot. It wasn't the Flint.
she may be able to end up needing to make fire for them, even though she doesn't want to show she has that skill.
Oh, and they're going to take their Flint when they lose too again, probably, aren't they?
Yep.
I didn't care for that, but okay.
Okay, you said this next lady pronounces it Mariah, even though it looks like Maria.
Yep.
Mariah. Okay.
Mariah's 47 from Indiana. She's a stay-at-home mom. She loves gardening, writing poetry and spoken word, and Pilates. She describes herself as spicy, smart, loving, and tender-hearted. Plans to slip under the radar like Angelina and bring an upbeat, funny, and light energy like Tony. My greatest asset is my emotional intelligence and ability to accurately read people. My game will be easy to argue at the final three. I believe being likable and smart and savvy pays off in the end and secures the vote. She talks a good talk, and she may have all of that, but you can't help but think, Mom on vacation.
Yeah, there's possibility there to want you definitely wonder it looking at her. First impressions, just looking at her picture there with her bio.
The thing that got me most, and the reason I thought she might be a mom on vacation, is that she said she's on a personal journey.
Mm-hmm.
And people who are on personal journeys to find themselves don't always stay focused in the game. You can even do that at Ponderosa.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes they sort of find their way out of the game when it gets in the way of their finding themselves.
Yeah, because
when they're not having the success that they wanted and
then
things
it's
get
just
tough.
a vacation and you get to eat. But anyway, she said she wants to be a provider. She intends to be the provider, but so does Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
So does he accept her role in that, or is that a clash between them? There's not usually two providers. I don't see why not, but that's not usually the way it works. I just said no merge because I have to pick 7 people for no merge.
If it's like 41, 7 of these folks aren't going to make it to the merge.
She's the oldest. She's the least physical looking, and she doesn't talk about being physical.
Yeah, I got no merge for her too.
Okay. Well, we're still in sync.
Mm-hmm.
Goodness.
Marianne
is 24. She's from Ontario, Canada.
Now that's definite Canadian.
Yep, a seminary student. She said, I'm energetic, empathetic, chaotic. Her pet peeves are when people don't listen to me, who walk slowly in front of me, anything that disrupts my sleep, hypocrites, and people who don't apologize. I'm a great listener. I check in on people and let them vent to me, which gives me more info that can help her guide her future decisions. So I'm sure she's planning to utilize that.
No merge for me.
Yeah, she talked about that she can't shut up. She talks all the time, and she'll try to listen. It's a goal, but I thought, I don't think she's going to be able
I'd
to
vote
do
her
that.
right out. Yeah.
Yeah, you would.
You keep talking like that. Yeah.
So, yeah, you keep talking.
Her
you
and
get my
Lindsay.
vote.
Yeah.
I know. I knew that about you, my baby.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just, that's the main thing. I thought, I don't know. She could team up with Omar. She might could last longer if she does that, but I say no merge.
Yeah, you do see them talking together in the preview.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, no merge. And Omar, last on that tribe.
31, also from Ontario, Canada. He's a veterinarian, a super fan. He said, I'm silly, empathetic, and shameless. I can win because of my ability to adapt, connect with others, understanding strategy and how to manipulate numbers, and most importantly, social awareness of myself and others are the key ingredients to success. I can't wait to do the show. I love, he said he wants to be, not only win, but he wants to be the first Indian and Muslim to win the game. That's also a goal.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I waffled here. I thought I couldn't decide, and I finally ended on no merge for him. I think he's going to end up in a situation where he gets voted out.
Well, I had no merge for him, but then I realized I had no merge for
Too many.
Mariah, Marianne, and Omar.
Yeah,
and
that's what I do have.
And
got
yet I
half this
thought they
tribe
would
going.
be a pretty strong team physically because of the other 3 people. And so I thought, well, maybe Omar might do better. So I switched Omar and Swati. So I have him making the merge now.
Okay. I do not. Moving on to the Vadi tribe. Chanel,
I like Chanel. 21 from New York, an executive recruiter. She's been a fan since she was 10 years old. She said, I'm cunning, competitive, cultured. I'm a student of the game, watched all the seasons, studied the greats, and I've learned the nuances. I'm a subject matter expert in Survivor.
Shmee. We used to call those shmees at work, subject matter experts. I don't believe her, but
Well, yeah, that's
I
a
think
bit
she's
much.
a recruit.
I liked her though,
She's putting it on heavy.
and I think with a good alliance she could do well. And I went ahead and threw her in my final four.
Interesting. Well, this is where we're going to differ dramatically then. I got
Yeah.
no merge for Chanel.
I have merged.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. There's stronger personalities, so I could see her go no pre-merge because I have Jenny going. I'm going to go ahead and say that but I think Jenny, if Jenny doesn't, and her strength pulls out and she doesn't clash with other people, it could be Chanel. But for now, I have Chanel making the merge, and in my final four.
Next up, we got Daniel Strunk. So when I saw that, I thought, Strunk the skunk.
Yes, my juvenile.
Yes. I don't know that he's skunk-like, but that just popped into my head. So I'll be watching for any skunk-like traits that Daniel exhibits.
That's an unusual name. I don't think I've ever heard Strunk. But okay, he's 30 years old from New Haven, Connecticut. He's a law clerk for a judge, but he has a law degree.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that on one of the interviews. Hobbies are, he says he's a movie fanatic. He likes Legos, and he keeping track of things, I guess information,
Yeah,
and
statistics.
Survivor.
Yeah.
He said, to win, I'll need to lower my threat level from the get-go, embrace my inner goofy like Fabio, then model my game after Yule and Todd.
I did like some of the things I heard him say.
I did too, but for some reason I just was not drawn to him. I even think he might do better than I think he will. I put no merge.
I got him merging. Yeah, I think he's going to find a way to hang around.
And I do think he could merge, but I didn't have a good feeling about his ability to do well at Survivor. Even though I think he'll be very sneaky and that kind of, so he could even make a good villain and be around, but I could be underestimating him, but I said no merge. And
Okay. Next up, we got High.
Hi is 29. He's originally from Vietnam, but he lives in New Orleans now. He's a data scientist. He's been a fan since he was 8 years old. He said, I'm aggressive, astute, audacious, and have great speaking abilities. Pet peeves are judgmental and patronizing people. I grew up in extreme poverty, but we live very comfortable lives today. I learned to survive and be resilient, which made me strong. I'll play similar to Aubrey, who is a strategic mastermind and non-threatening, similar to myself. I'll focus on keeping bigger physical and social threats around to ensure myself a shield, and won't rule anyone out who can advance my game. I had a good feel about him.
Good
if
story.
He can do, yeah, if he could do all that, I actually, I think I might like his gameplay. We'll see. But I think he may be capable of going deep. So I put merge and put him in the single male in my final four.
Yeah, I got him making the merge too.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yep. Next up, we got Jenny.
43 years old from New York, creative director. Her hobbies are travel, Pilates, and writing. I'm crafty and good with my hands. I'm direct, open, and compassionate. Pet peeves are arrogant people and those with a sense of entitlement. I'm proud of every twist and turn I have adapted to and can confidently say I'm a successful design leader today. I can win because I know how to read people well and understand what they're feeling. She's a great listener and leader and knows she'll be able to gain trust. I'm here for a huge adventure to shake things up for me. and figure out what path I need to follow for the rest of my life. That's when I said no merge.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I liked it up into then, and I think I could see her being very strong if she got in with somebody even high, if they don't clash, or because but they both seem like leaders to me, so I don't know if they can both lead or if they'll align. And
one thing that I did like about her that she shared was that when the pandemic hit, basically her job went away and she had to pivot, and so that's when she pivoted into being a Pilates instructor.
Awesome.
And that adaptability, and she's got that's fresh on her mind. That's why she's talking about figuring out what she's going to do. And a lot of people in their 40s have that kind of mindset. Wait a minute,
Yeah,
what am I going to do at this point? If I'm
What do I
roughly
wanna
at
do, and
the
do I
halfway point. Yeah.
even want to go back to what I was doing.
Exactly. Yeah, but I did like her ability to demonstrate that she could adapt and improvise and find a way through a really hard time like that.
Well, that's why I said I could see her doing well in the game, but it was that last bit about,
Being there for the adventure.
Yeah.
Yep, that is off-putting.
I put no merge.
I got her making the merge. I think she's going to be critical for her tribe. She's not going anywhere.
Okie doke.
Next up, we got Lydia.
She's 22 from Virginia. She's living in Santa Monica now. She's a waitress / actor. Hobbies are writing,
What did you
comedy.
say we're going to call them? Wactors?
A wactor.
Okay.
Well, I said, I'm actor, and you said, no, she's not a model, and I said, no, she's a writer, so we'll call her a wactor.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just me. She likes writing comedy, roller skating. She said, I'm funny, spontaneous, and loyal. I believe I could be the sole survivor because I'm likable and funny, but also wicked smart and strategic. I'm young, but super capable of holding my own. I'm honest, but willing to make big moves. I talk a lot. I will try to listen. So, yeah, I don't think she's going to do well in the game. She's very young. She doesn't look like she is physically fit. Of course, that doesn't always matter. We know that. But I just think she's the smallest person in her tribe, not as physically fit. And so, and she talks a lot. So I had to choose somebody, so I said no merge.
I also have Lydia as a no merge. So
Okay.
she's my number 7. Next up, we got Mike.
58 from New Jersey, retired firefighter. He likes working out, sports, and movies. I'm loyal, loud, fair, smart, sensitive, and a straight arrow. I care, get my feelings hurt, and I hurt for the less fortunate. I believe I can win because I'll be a beast in challenges, a worker in camp, yet I'll make people believe I'm not a threat until it's too late. Again, I'm not sure he's going to hide those muscles, but I also have the gift of gab, and people will like me, even Jeff. I liked him.
Yeah, I did too.
I like you.
I don't know how well he's going to do. For some reason, I was waffling a little bit, but you think about professions where they have to adapt at just a moment's notice, and firefighter certainly fits that bill.
Yeah, though he looks more like a boxer to me.
Yeah.
It looks like you wouldn't want to go in the ring with him.
Yeah. Yeah, he does look like a tough guy, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Yep.
But I think he's a very nice guy, and I put definite merge.
Got him making the merge too. Yep.
And I think that, he could be a sleeper. He could. I think because of his physicality, he can't get to the end. But if anybody could slip in there that had his physicality, it might be him.
I'm anxious to see how he handles himself in social situations.
Yeah.
So it's in this group. I mean, he's considerably older. He is by far the oldest in the group, right? Is he the oldest overall?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't
at
realize.
58.
It didn't dawn on me he's 58, even though I read it. But I still think he'll make the merge. I don't know. I don't think he will. His energy will leave him before then.
Oh, no,
for the lack of food.
No, I don't think so either. But
He
Yeah.
seems.
And at 26 days, that's one of the benefits, too.
And I like that he's a fireman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It did you something about him. He makes me smile.
Yeah.
I just thought, oh, I think I
The
like
fact that
him.
he says he's a big softie. Yeah.
Yeah. All of that. I would actually like to visit with him.
Okay, that's our three. That's our three tribes. So now we like to say who we think is going to be first out, who's going to be Final Four, and who do we think is going to win it all. Do you want me to go first? I got my first out already.
Okay. Well, so do I. But go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I got Swati going out first. I don't think they're going to do well on that challenge. I think she's just going to catch it and she's going to be out of there.
Well, and I put Zach.
I could have gone either way.
Exactly. I was
Either
like,
one.
Zach Swati. But I settled on Zach because I thought, I think Swati's bigger and she's supposed to be more physically fit.
Mm-hmm.
Though I wouldn't be surprised if it's Swati.
Yeah.
So we're kind of in the same. I
it
think
could
they'll
go either
lose
way.
too.
I could
Yeah.
change my mind, see something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is our choice today. So we'll see what we
Okay.
actually.
What were your thoughts for Final Four?
Drea, Tori, Chanel, and Hi.
So we differ by one.
We do?
Yeah, I had Drea, Tori, Daniel, and High.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I hope you're wrong.
Well, okay.
I didn't want Daniel to.
Okay. So you're cheering against Daniel. Strike the skunk. He's got a strike against him out of the gate out by Joanne.
I know.
So out of
man.
those Final Four, who's your pick? Who's your
I'm leaning
USB right
very
now?
strongly toward Tori.
And
But that could change after the, JABBIC Part 2.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm leaning towards Drea right now, but it was all kind of up in the air between those four. I could see it being any of them actually.
Yeah, it was really those two for me was where I was leaning for the win. Mm-hmm. That's odd because we didn't do any of this together.
Right. We do our own separate studying, although you will run in from time to time when, like, you got all excited with the Tory stuff.
I was like, oh, this, and I really like that she
She's
wore
using
blue.
her
and blah, blah, blah.
psychology. Yes.
Yeah, but that was just that one little thing.
Yep. Well, that's our take on the new tribes, the three new tribes for season 42.
So we still get the 2 hours. It's still 26 days, right?
Yep.
They're still gonna
2 hour
try
first
to
episode.
starve them, I guess.
Yeah, he's going to keep everything like that the same. I think it's probably going to play out the same too. There's probably going to be two people that leave, and there'll be two tribal councils. So they'll have an immunity challenge, and there'll be one winner, and then the other two go to tribal council. That's how it happened in the first episode last season.
Oh, well, since we don't know that, we can't
We don't know for
plan
sure.
for that.
Yeah.
So here's the deal with your first out. We always give, if you get the first person voted out correct each season.
Hold on
in
just a
the
second. Just hold that thought.
Okay.
So we run a fantasy league for
Okay.
each season. And so some of the terms you heard us use, like USB instead of who's the sole survivor, that stands for Ultimate Survivor Bonus. That's in our Survivor Fantasy League. And so what Joanne's talking about is how we're going to manage the points for that first episode. Okay, now.
Okay. You will, no matter if there's one or two people voted off during that first 2 hour premiere, only the first person actually voted out of the game. Whoever, if there's two tribals, whoever goes to tribal first and is voted out first will be who you would get the 2 points for.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever goes out next, even if you had their name down, no points. Only for the person who went out first. And that way, that's the only way I know that's fair to handle that.
Yeah, so what you have to somehow do is think of these three tribes in an immunity challenge, and you got to figure out who's going to win. There'll likely be a physical component, and then they'll end with a puzzle, something like that, or some kind of dexterity challenge. And then, so which one do you think's going to win? And then, essentially, which one do you think's going to come in last?
And
which going to be furthest
both chose
away?
blue
Yeah.
to lose.
Yep. I think blue and orange are going to lose. I think our
Though,
winner's going to be in
In
green.
all fairness, know that I don't know that I've ever gotten a first out bonus point.
Yeah.
If I did, I don't remember it. So that is not my strong suit.
Okay, so we got a little more business to take care of, but before we do the wrap up, we have a side challenge as part of the fantasy league. And if you're unfortunate enough to lose the side challenge, then you get assigned a parody song that you have to create.
By the winner
Yeah.
of the season.
By the winner of the side challenge, not the winner of the...
Yep.
So, one of our side challenge losers has already delivered their song, so we thought we'd go ahead and take care of that in JABBIC Part 1.
All right. Yay, Justin.
Yeah, Justin got his parody of El Paso by Marty Robbins. He's got that done, and he is ready for us to share that with the world.
And we thank
part of the debt that
Michael
he owes
from Utah for
choosing that song. Yep.
Submission.
All right. So, anything else you want to say?
No, let's hear
All right.
Justin.
Without further ado, here's Justin paying his debt from last season's side challenge.
Come on in, guys, for season 41. Oh, never mind, just come on in. This is a season with lots of weird twists, dead relatives speaking through butterflies. Broccoli bean, just a bunch of small trees. Goats on astroturf getting confused. The shot in the dark never came into play, much like the fire tokens from the season before. Shan and Ricard were the stars of the season, but their threat level could not be disguised. In the end, an unlikely trio, Xander, Deshaun, and Erica. Who would have guessed it despite little airtime? Erica was declared the sole survivor.
Yay.
All right.
Good job, Justin. I like the vibrato and the warble. He had some good country warble in there, and he even referenced the thing we couldn't remember, Shot in the Dark. At Tribal Council.
Thank you.
He works that in. Yeah. Good deal. All right, your debt is paid, Justin. You did fantastic. Thank you, sir. Good job. And we're looking forward to hearing from Drew. I think we got an update from him, said he would be
He's working on it this weekend.
Yeah, so we might have that for the JABBIC Part 2.
Yep.
All right. We want to say a big thanks again to Paul for the roster. Great job on the roster there for season 42. It's already helping us. We got it on the screen. We were using it while we were doing our research, reading the bios.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've had it up the whole time we were recording here so we could look up and reference it and see everyone. Awesome job. And that link's in the show notes for each episode. And a big thanks to Steve. Speaking of the JSFL, the fantasy league that we have, it wouldn't be possible without the help of Steve and the application that he built to run the JSFL. And it's ready. It is ready. This note says it's ready to receive your selections, huh?
Yes,
oh, okay.
Yes, baby,
so
it's ready.
You can go in and make your choices.
I noticed the other day several people had already made picks.
Outstanding.
It's like,
Good
really?
deal.
I hadn't even started looking yet. But
On the ball.
probably more by now.
Just a quick reminder: we don't know what your password is. If you forgot your password, sorry, you'll need to re-register and make sure to get all your choices in for first out and who you think's going to win it all, and 4 people you think are going to be safe before the deadline of 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on March 9th.
And those people have to be safe, even if there's 2 tribals. They have to be safe at the
all
end
the way
of the episode.
Yep. Also, a big thanks to Jeremiah for maintaining the Survivor Fans Podcast Fans page on Facebook. Thank you, sir, for wrangling that zoo of Survivor fans over there. We appreciate that.
Good job, Jeremiah. If you're new to JSFL, you need to register before the deadline of 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific time on March the 9th in order to play this season. Registration will then be closed and you will not be allowed to play. If you're a first-time player or just need to remember the rules, then click on Official Rules that's listed on the JSFL website. Everybody needs to select your USB. Now, this is the person you think is going to win the entire game, as Stacy said, and you really need to remember to hit submit.
Drew.
Because so many people don't have the USB. No, Drew just didn't do it. Needed it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're still ribbing on Drew. Poor Drew. But now, when you hit submit, go back to your picks page where you do your safe picks and the person voted out. And the person you chose for USB should be listed in bold
Their name will
letters.
be bold, yeah.
And if it isn't, then something went wrong. Go back and do it again. So that's just a warning because that happens every season. I think that's all. Is the first 4 people safe through the end of the episode, and
Who you think is going to get voted
who you
out.
think's going to be voted out first.
And we give
Okay.
an extra point for the first voted out because it's a little more tricky to make that call.
Yeah.
So this was JABBIC Part 1, Judge a Book by its Cover Part 1. We took care of that. We got all the big broad strokes, went through the whole cast for you. Now, coming up next is JABBIC Part 2. That's your turn. We hand the reins over to you. Look forward to hearing your predictions. That feedback's due by noon on Saturday, March 5th. That's when we'll put out the JABBIC Part 2. And we ask that you keep your feedback, whether you write it or you record it or call into the voicemail line in that 3-minute range. Reminder for the voicemail number, that's 206-350-1547 or toll free 844-643-8737. And if you want to be a part of the side challenge, if you want to take that risk and potentially end up singing a song for us, a parody song, then send us an email to joannastacyshow@gmail.com before the first show airs on the East Coast on March 9th and say, hey, I want to be part of the side challenge, so that we got your name and your email
Yep.
in case we need to notify you of anything during the season. All right.
That seemed like a lot of business.
It was a lot of business, wasn't it?
Well, yeah.
It was good.
Well, we'll only have
So-
to do this during the JABBIC shows.
Yeah, so we've got this wonky mechanics of this season that we're facing, but I think we may have a pretty good cast. I'm looking forward to seeing how the cast adapts to the goofy things that Probst came up with.
Well, if nothing else, we get to be back together with everyone.
Yeah.
So that alone is worth it.
Yep, looking forward to enjoying another season. We find ways to enjoy it, even when they find ways to muck with the mechanics of the whole thing. We can still find joy and entertainment, and that's certainly something that we could all use in trying times like the
Certainly
world's
is.
dealing with right now. Anything else you want to say?
No, I'm just happy to be back, and I can't wait to hear what you guys think about the new cast.
Yeah, looking forward to some new insights.
Help me.
Have a good one.